Welcome back to Bromell. The Crown calling for a 3-year prison term for an HIV-positive stripper who infected her husband, never telling anyone about the status for 8 years until she was hospitalized with a related illness in 2004. In the mid-90s, Suwalee Iamkhong arrived in Canada on a work visa to perform as an exotic dancer. This was several months after she tested positive for HIV in Hong Kong in 1995. Now, sentencing came down yesterday to a less than positive response. Now, she has been legally separated from her husband since 2004, and he joins us now. Percy Whiteman, thanks for joining us.
Hi, how are you?
Very well.
Percy, what happened in court yesterday?
Yesterday, the Justice of the Peace handed down her sentence of 3 years, and she was also credited for 12 months of strict bail conditions, which is false because it was like Club Med for her. She was always out doing her stuff. And so she'll be doing 2 years, and of course, as a first-time offender, she'll do, 1/3 and then be out on parole after that.
Yeah. Well, a great system, isn't it?
It is, yeah. You know, for 3.5 years of court system, she's only going to do 6 months, and as of yesterday, she still showed no remorse. Her support people who were around her were crying, but not her. It's like, you know, just another day. You know, that's it.
Let me ask you, give us a quick history lesson. Where did you meet her? How long were you married? And when did you find out about her condition with the HIV?
I met her at Zanzibar Tavern. I was a friend of her friends. We met. Zanzibar Tavern and immigration knew about her condition. We got married back in early of '97. We were married for 8 years. And of course, through every marriage, we had our ups and downs, but I was never informed of her medical situation by Canada Immigration or Zanzibar. And as she said on the stand in that they both knew, both Zanzibar Immigration, because Immigration asked for a full...
Well, they must have known that you got married, too.
Yeah. I even went to Immigration Canada to sign her sponsor papers, and the courts think right now that she's a Canadian citizen since 2001. She's not. She's a landed immigrant, and she's being charged under a federal... This is a federal charge, so my next goal is to have her deported. Immigration Canada still wants me to be responsible for her sponsorship until 2011. How can you be responsible for somebody has a callous, selfish act? You know, and self-centered person.
Yeah.
You know?
After 8 years of marriage, how did you find out she was HIV positive?
She ended up in the hospital in February of 2004, full-blown AIDS, close to death. She only had 20 white blood cells left, and she, about a week and a half of in the hospital, she called me, and the doctors told me. Of course, she had to give consent and that, but she didn't really want it then either. And she just said, sorry, and that's it. There's no sorry for something like this. You know, 8 years of pain and agony, you know, treating somebody as a wife, you know, you love, and then she only gets technically 6 months.
What is your medical situation?
HIV positive, yes.
And what is obviously that's a huge blow to you, but what has this done to you mentally over the last few years?
It's done a lot. You know, I have great friends giving me great support and everything. There's a lot of times I've been down and you just got to pick yourself up, especially being in the court system, being in a dark room. You know, like they say, once the Crown owns your case, that's it. You got pretty much nothing more to do with it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think that sucks because. If I wasn't so strong and had great friends around me, I don't know where I'd be today. You know, it's not right. I think as a victim, you should have full impact with it too. You know, it makes things a lot easier and close the wounds to recovery in that, right? But
outside of being a stripper, did you find out after? I guess you found out about her medical situation. You looked into it. Was she involved in any prostitution at all while she was here?
Yeah, well, I found out when we were in courts and that she was a prostitute back in Hong Kong when Immigration Canada, when she was applying to Canada to come in as a work permit, because she came here in '95 of November. She came here on an agency through Zanzibar and Immigration Canada. They asked her for full medical, but they forgot to do a follow-up. Immigration now is telling me that they don't know what her medical records are and so on. So it's
what's her original nationality?
She's from Thailand. Yep.
And then she got to Hong Kong. And so you're saying that at no time did anybody from immigration, knowing that she was coming into this country, whatever her status was, they were welcoming her. She didn't come in as an illegal, right?
No, they welcomed her with...
and they knew that she was HIV positive.
Yep.
They knew eventually you were getting married to her, and and nobody called you.
Nope.
Now, have you looked into the fact that it's an obligation, legal obligation on Customs Canada or immigration to notify you?
Yep, that's what I'm like when I went to the Scarborough office there, Scarborough Town Center office, and signed the papers for her landed immigrant stuff. And I sat there with an immigration officer. Nobody has said nothing. And currently, I'm working on trying to get a civil. I'm going to be putting a civil suit against her and a lawsuit against Immigration Canada. But I'm just not having a good time with finding the appropriate lawyers to take on the battle.
In the 8-year period, did you have any suspicion at all?
No, none. She was sick a few times, like everybody does get sick. I was always working like 120 hours a week.
Did you ever ask her?
Always.
About the HIV?
Yep, I always asked her, make sure she was okay, like make sure she's dancing clean. Are you clean? She goes, yes. She's went to doctors, done medicals and everything like that. When you're working 120 hours a week, you have to go on the basis of the honesty of your wife, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's why you've married her, but fortunately it didn't work out to be that way.
I know, but I think where a lot of people might be concerned is the profession. Did you ever get tested yourself during that time?
Yep, I've gotten tested. Like they said, I just pretty much contracted it towards the first part of 2004, they're saying, like roughly around January or December of 2003.
So
I did.
Right now you're looking at a civil suit of some kind toward, I guess, different government agencies.
Well, yeah, one against her, and then Immigration Canada. They welcomed her with Zanzibar with some kind of agency they were using at the time. As she said, her manager at the time, which is Wally Waterman, he knew of her test, and they said, "Oh, don't worry about it." She admitted right on stand in front of a judge and that, in front of the Crown Attorney and her lawyer. So. We just got the media ban lifted a few months ago. There was a media ban on this for over 3 years.
Why was that?
They was protecting her and that too.
Wow.
Yeah. How can you?
Have any other guys come forward?
No, no one else has come forward. That's why I've had the media ban lifted, and her stage name, which she always uses, was Ricky. And back in 2001. When she got her landed immigrant papers, her and her sister went down to Thailand, and they both had surgeries, and I was very concerned when I found out. But they had both had a blood transfusion, and her sister up here is married.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's an ongoing matter, and then everyone thinks she's a Canadian citizen. She's not. Her sister is even a stripper. Her sister's even been out doing other acts and everything like that. So this whole situation is just being boggled too much, and the reason why I want society to know, everyone in Toronto, that is, why has it happened to someone else? When me and her were split up, she's seen someone else. I know she was.
Yeah.
I don't know their names or anything, but hopefully they know who Ricky and Tammy are, and they step forward. They go and get tested. And God forbid, I hope nothing's wrong with them. I don't want them to go through what I've been through.
Well, listen, we have to move on. Good luck in whatever endeavors you, or however you tackle this.
Okay, thank you very much.
Percy Whiteman is this woman's husband, legally separated since 2004. What a story.
Many out there.
What a story.
When I was working in 51 in the Plainclothes unit, we used to get warnings from the health department all the time about HIV positive prostitutes all the time. Mm-hmm. And we would have to track them down and, give them a warning, by the way, you are HIV. We'd catch them with Johns all the time, not using protection. It would happen all the time. There are hundreds of stories out there just like this. They want to protect them. They don't want to let anybody know. And that was one of the jobs, is to go out, and the health department said, if you see this person, have a talk with them, make sure they get off the streets as best you can. You'd be catching them with Johns. And baby seats in the back of the car.
Oh, I don't want to hear that.
Sad.
Also makes you question immigration.
Wow, that's a big problem here.
Well, of course, I know, but not following up on a case like that?
Boy, have we heard that before?
Well, I guess we have, but man.
There you go.
We'll continue on Bromell. This is AM 640 Toronto Radio.